Hey, I'm Butterfly.
Hey, I'm Firefly.
Have you ever wondered if we aren't being told the truth about everything?
What have we been lied to about? Join us as we have conversations and ask questions about everything. We invite you to keep an open mind and consider the unfathomable.
Let's break the chains that enslave our minds. Come on, let's go down the rabbit hole.
What's up, Butterfly?
Hey, Firefly, what's going on?
Well, we were just kind of glancing at the news today, and what we found was some angry lesbians that want to destroy this country from within.
They're basically coming right out and saying that.
I have no desire to do anything within them, but they
No.
want to destroy this
They
country
said
from
that
within.
they want to what is it? They want to undo the imperialism
We
what
want to stop the imperial empire that is America from within.
yes.
So we're here to just be so ugly and undesirable that we all just collapse.
Yeah.
I think
They want
that's
to
it.
collapse America.
Which, if they sat on it, it probably would.
I know. I think they're so miserable that you know how misery loves company?
Totally.
I think that
You know what's funny about that?
they want to destroy our country.
Someone was telling me back in the wake of World War II, there was a bunch of people from that country from 1948 from Eastern Europe,
Mm.
and they came to America and they saw the largesse and the prosperity. And dude, in 1950s America, the prosperity and the largesse and the glamour, and they were so envious and they
They
hated it.
wanted to destroy
They
it.
vowed to destroy it.
Isn't that sick?
That's what it is.
That is what is that? Is that envy
So
or is that
envy is
je
different than jealousy.
okay.
So there's a distinction to be made.
Yes.
Jealousy means, oh my God, I wish I had her. That guy is so lucky to have that beautiful girl. I hope I find a girl like that. I'm jealous. That's jealousy. Envy is, I'm gonna kill that guy and take that chick.
Mm.
That's envy. Envy
Yeah.
is a deadly sin.
Wow.
So it's a deadly sin because you really not only do you jealously want that person's stuff, but you want to kill them and take it.
Yeah.
And that's how commies are.
That's how they are.
Commies want to kill us and take our country
Hmm.
because they're jealous. Because communism isn't happy. The
No.
people who run communism aren't happy.
Yeah.
The people who live under communism aren't happy. There's no happiness nowhere.
Yeah.
Remember that Chris Rock when he was like single and lonely, married and bored. Ain't no happiness anyway. So that's how communism is. Ain't
It's
no happiness anywhere.
That's true though. I mean, like, I think they're really trying to push this whole communism is good idea
Totally.
onto like the now generation, especially the younger people. Um, and if you're dumb and you don't really think it through, maybe it sounds like a good idea because you don't really have to do anything and you're just going to get freebies. But if you think about that, how long are you going to keep getting free stuff without having to give something in return?
You just took them too far. They
I
don't
know.
think that far.
They don't.
That even that one little step further is too much
Yeah.
thinking. They're just like free stuff. I'm fine.
They get their nipple pierced on the way to get tacos. Oh, they get their knuckles tattooed because it's a slow day at work.
Because the girl was like, "You don't have any tattoos. Why don't you just get baby doll tattooed on your knuckles just for fun?"
Yeah.
Or remember in the book, she was like, "I'm bored. Let me just pierce your nose.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna permanently body modify you because I'm bored."
So yeah, I think that is a big problem. People not thinking things through.
The other thing too is Abraham Lincoln did say the only way that America would fall is from subversion from within. Have you
Wow.
ever heard that term subversion?
Yeah.
That means that you subvert power. So what you do is you overthrow from within.
He's right though. He's right.
There was no way to destroy America from outside because we have oceans on both sides that protect us militarily.
And you know, that was one of the things I remember was one of those communist leaders, I forgot which one, but they said that um, we wouldn't have to be basically like somebody wouldn't have to come in and do something to us. We'll do it to ourselves,
And that's
you
what's
know?
happening.
Yeah.
The media has warped America so that people are committing suicide,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
We're destroying our own civilization, and we're destroying our own beautiful, wonderful country.
And why would we want to destroy it? I mean, it was really good. They've somehow taken it, they've taken a whole generation and like totally brainwashed them into thinking that this is a bad place and capitalism is bad and everything about this place is terrible and that we need to destroy it and bring it down and
How
change it.
about you just go to North Korea,
I
you
think
fat, ugly lesbian?
that's my that's my cure for this problem.
Totally.
Totally. Like
We don't
go
need
to
to
North
become
Korea.
communism. Go live in China, you fat, ugly lesbian.
Go to the communist places and
Totally.
just go be there. You'll be happy.
Go be Russia. You
Yeah.
go live in Russia.
Yeah, I think North Korea is like the ticket. I think that because that
You
one's
know
the
what, though?
extreme communist place.
Little Kim wouldn't want them.
They wouldn't want them.
She'd be like, "We are kind of running low on food. Our soldiers have actually shrunk because of lack of food.
We
And
don't need
you're a
more people.
fat McDonald's eating lesbian. We
Yeah,
can't afford
yeah. Maybe they could go to China because then they could like eat Chinese food,
you." Yeah,
and
China's got more food.
yeah,
Because, don't be sitting here trying to change the greatest country of all time into a communist hellhole. Just you
just
leave.
go to the communist
That's all
hellhole.
that has to happen.
Yeah.
You don't.
And you go talk like you're talking here over there, and your face will be plastered on an electronic billboard with your social credit score, and you
Oh,
won't be able to
totally.
get a train ticket out of town.
The commies are going to destroy women like them
Hmm.
because they're so useless and they're so quick and willing to sell out their own countrymen.
Yeah,
In the Bolshevik Revolution and Russian Revolution, the ones who went along with them were the first ones killed
exactly.
because what they prove is you stand for nothing.
Hmm.
All you'll do is just go, "Oh, power and money for me? Okay." And you don't think it through that next step. So you're just basically committing suicide.
Right.
And that's what these people are doing.
Yep,
And a lot of Americans are committing social suicide,
they are.
you know? They're just going and playing cornhole and driving their Teslas and acting like everything's hunky dory.
Yeah.
That's committing social suicide. Not that we have to not be partying. I mean, me and you have good times. Me and you have fun times. We are awesome. We have awesome, fun lives. But we live our lives in the recognition and the in cognizant of the circumstances.
Exactly.
That's what you have to do. These commies are trying to take over, and a lot of people are just blind to indications, let's say.
How do you think this has happened? How do you think we've gone from this prosperous and happy country
Yeah,
into a place where peop the people, the citizens who live here, a lot of them are being taught to hate the country and hate the
it's been a
flag.
process. It's been a process going all the way back to the 50s. Like I
Yep.
said, in the wake of World War II, those people from that country from 1948 that lived in Eastern Europe under the Iron Curtain, like, Eastern Germany, East Berlin, and all of those Eastern Bloc countries, it was miserable there during the 50s. And they came here, they envied us. And what happened is they've managed to take over our education system. They've managed to take over our media, our news media. They've managed to run Hollywood. They've managed to run our medical system. And they also control all of our Congress. So what they've done is they've kind of dug in like a tick.
Yeah.
They're kind of like ticks. And it's a mafia. And so they've ruled through extortion and blackmail and threats and intimidation. And they've taken over this country. And the people, instead of rising up against it, have become so brainwashed by the media that they are going along with it because the media has mesmerized Americans so much.
And has, since they are controlled by that entity, they are pushing out the agenda and the narrative and the idea that, yes, this is the way to go.
If people, we've talked about how influential they are. Like if the celebrities have tranny kids, then the one dude that you told not to get the pokies, his kid turns tranny too.
Yep.
And then he teaches his kid when you see that guy at Chick-fil-A from Video Stop, what was that game? Oh no,
GameStop.
GameStop. Remember? He was like, "Excuse me, it's ma'am." And the guy's like, "I'm sorry, sir." And he's like, "Call me sir again, I'm taking you outside. It's
How
ma'am."
ladylike.
Yeah. So like that dad, So you went up to that dad and you said, "Don't go get the Pokies. The Pokies are deadly, and your kid doesn't need it." And he goes, "Well, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Come on, son, let's go get the shots." Then that kid, they're at Chick-fil-A, and there's that dude from GameStop going, "I'd like chicken sandwich, no pickles. I don't want a pickle, ma'am." And then the dad tells his son, "You see that, son? That's a great guy right there. He's fine. He's completely normal." So the Overton window has shifted where we accept that kind of crap in our society.
Yeah,
And that Overton window has shifted to a place of cultural suicide, is
exactly.
what's going on.
Yeah, it is cultural suicide because like these things that never would have been considered normal before or accepted are now not only accepted by the masses, but they're promoted and they're like
Totally.
kind of celebrated, like because the celebrities are doing it. Even the people that like know, they know subconsciously like this is wrong, they go along with it because they're like virtue signaling and they're like, oh, I
Yeah.
have to like, say that this is good because this
They
is the
want to be in
cool
the in
thing.
crowd.
Yeah, it's the
That's
cool
another
thing.
thing they've used. You asked, how did this happen? Cancel culture was a huge thing.
Yeah, and we did remember that episode we did on what is the precursor for each event has a precursor.
Yes.
So the Me Too movement, we talked about this. The Me Too movement
Preceded COVID
preceded COVID because it introduced cancel culture.
and
That
cancel
was
culture.
that was an important tool
Weapon.
and weapon in the whole cooties
Because
fiasco.
what did they say? You had people like Jimmy Kimmel,
Yeah,
and he'd come out and he'd go, You know what? If you don't take the shots, you don't get to have health care."
you can just die.
That's called canceling.
Yeah.
That's saying you're not doing what we tell you to do, so you're canceled.
Or even just like the workers at Trader Joe's, like trying to like not see you around the store if you didn't have a mask on and cancel you, like you not being allowed to come in certain places because you didn't want to like go along with the
To
charade.
some people, that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
They can't deal with that kind of canceling.
Yeah. So instead of standing up and saying, I know this is wrong and I don't need to wear a mask, like if you want to wear one, fine. But instead of standing up and doing that, so many people were just like, yeah, I know it's wrong, but I'm just going to go along with it.
You can
Cause
survive being canceled. I've
yeah.
been canceled since the 80s. I've totally, because I reject the in crowd. I reject the media. The media is the in crowd. Have you noticed?
Totally.
The in crowd, they are in lockstep with the media. I reject the media, so I reject the in crowd. So I've been canceled. You can live, God still provides. I'm still alive. But you don't you can survive being canceled, but they've made people terrified of
Right.
being canceled.
Yeah.
The other thing I noticed that Americans are doing is they're quick to dismiss 1950s America as some racist, horrible institution when
Yeah.
it was this flourishing of the middle class. We had Christian values, we had the best schools in the world, we had healthy, like if you look at my mom, she was born in 1949. She grew up in an America that was paradise on earth. Even Southern California back then, I've seen pictures. It was paradise on earth around here. And it got ruined in their lifetime.
Yeah.
And it's because the baby boomer generation was brainwashed into thinking that the 1950s America and the prosperity and the largesse that they were born into was somehow horrible and racist and evil, and we need to
Yeah.
destroy it and make way for this Bolshevik revolution system to come into our
They
country.
introduced that with the civil rights movement and like the debaucherous, slippery slope of bottomless pit behavior in the 60s.
The sex,
Remember?
drugs, and rock and roll revolution
Yeah.
was really, really bad for America. Because Jimi Hendrix, he's as gnarly as he was kind of an immoral bottomless pit.
Yeah.
Like he would just go have sex with whoever, just be high on drugs all the time. Well, yeah, he plays awesome guitar, but he's an immoral bottomless pit, and he became a superstar legend icon that a lot of people emulated both morally and in other ways.
Yeah.
That was a very toxic thing. Because if you look at the 60s, fast forward to the 80s and Motley Crue and that whole movement, that whole like remember the Hollywood strip and all the hair bands and the
Yeah.
and the and the what was that tight stuff that they used to wear?
Spandex.
Spandex.
Yeah.
The whole spandex thing, that was a debaucherous movement.
Yeah.
They all worshiped Satan. They all were just totally sexually immoral and total addicts.
Yeah.
And that was kind of what was espoused on MTV when you and I were growing up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that's part of the reason that we're in the problem that we're in today. And these people have chosen, you know what? Do you want to have prosperity and um, safety and good schools and health? Or do you want to have a collapsed hellhole communist? And they're like, B.
Yeah. It
I
doesn't make
want
any
B.
sense. It's they've gone through like a lot of brainwashing to
It'd be
get
like
there.
if you set out a plate of filet mignon and a plate of dog shit. And then you say, you put it in front of somebody and you say, "This is disgusting. This filet mignon is disgusting. This is totally evil and gross. This shit is really good.
Mhm.
This is what we need to be eating." And these people go, he's making a lot of sense.
People are kind of actually doing that. Look at
Totally.
how they're trying to push this idea of eating bugs and, the fake meat and all of that stuff. So,
Impossible meat.
impossible meat. So,
It's anything's possible.
what you described is actually kind of happening. Like
Remember the
literally.
3D printed chicken? She's
Yeah.
like 82% rendered,
Yeah.
you know?
This chicken will be ready to eat by noon.
And remember the meme I did where the guy's doing the tour? He's doing the tour of the factory where the chicken's being rendered in the 3D printing machine.
Yeah.
And he's telling the tour group, he's like, "This chicken will be ready to eat in 2 days." And the people are like, "Oh my God." Or then there was the other one that was like the tank.
Yeah.
The chickens were being made in the big tank.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "These are almost done." Dude, I am not eating that, bro.
They're making that stuff for us to
But
eat.
people are like that now.
Yeah.
Dude, people will eat carrageen and locust bean
You know
paste.
what? I wonder if, like, a lot of the problems with the way people are just like following along so stupidly and blindly like sheep is because of all the chemicals that they're ingesting.
That could be part of it.
You
You can
know?
tell that the Hydra is multi-pronged.
Yeah.
So there's tranny stuff going on. There's poisoning of your food. There's corralling you into the healthcare system to go on big shawarma. There's full-on brainwashing in the media, and there's lies in the news. So you have like this Hydra, and then they're spraying stuff on you.
It's like we're being bombarded from every angle, and
Totally.
it's really hard to escape it. And I think a lot of people just don't. They don't want to. They don't want to fight back, and they want to be on their permanent blue pill. And
That's what it is.
yeah, and they are already totally somatized and drugged up from their big shawarma that they probably can't really escape it.
I think they can.
They can,
I
but they
think
can't.
anything's a
They don't want.
choice.
They don't want to.
They don't want to. They don't want to. You know
Yeah,
what it is? And I think a lot of Americans, I hate to say it, are
they
spineless.
are.
They're spineless.
So we
They're
need
like, I don't want to dude, it's too powerful.
we need our listeners because I know our listeners are not spineless. Our listeners are they want change, or
If they're
they
listening to
wouldn't be
us,
listening to us.
totally. If you're
So
getting through a whole episode of our stuff, you
yeah,
want change.
yeah. So we need our listeners to be part of this and help this movement by waking people up, sharing the episodes, like talking about these things with your friends, because
Yeah,
a lot of people are still so unaware of what's going on in the world and what's coming
totally.
around the corner.
Totally.
And remember the meme that we did for 4th of July?
Yep.
And it was all the people having their picnic and the fireworks and everything, but it said, "Look what's creeping in," and
And the
it's
communist flag is right there under the American flag.
yeah, because it's creeping in fast.
I see people that have like a country from that flag from that country from 1948, and it's actually melded into the American flag.
Yeah,
It's like it's one flag now. They're just a part of us. We've
that's
kind of absorbed them.
that's weird.
Like that Kurt Russell movie, The Thing. Have you ever
Mm-hmm.
seen that? Where he's in that base in Antarctica, and the entity it starts to just absorb all the dudes on the base, and then by the end, it's just like this big um, beast amalgamation of all the dudes he has just like consumed and like made them a part of him, and they're like coming out of his side and everything,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what it's like,
And
revealing the method,
that was taking place in Antarctica, you
and
said?
that was in Antarctica.
That's interesting.
Yep,
That would be Antarctica,
totally.
the mystery place that nobody's allowed to go to.
Well, in 1948, they said, we got to preserve it for the polar bears and the pol
Yeah.
and the
We
penguins.
got to keep it safe for them. So
Yeah.
nobody, no country, nobody's allowed to go there.
All
And
180 countries agreed that
they
we'll
all
never,
agreed.
ever, ever go there.
Everybody agreed on that. It's nice that we could all agree on something.
Yeah. They all agreed to form the UN, who basically had the replacement agenda that said, well, white people aren't replacing themselves, so we're just going to import 900 million third world barbarians and miscegenation and just like, yeah. That was the UN.
Yeah.
1948 was a fucked up.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I think that's what's going on now is you have people that are just like happy to just eat a big pile of shit and say filet mignon's gross. I've been told that filet mignon is racist and they had slaves. So give me a big pile of dog shit and I'll eat that.
The gaslighting and the cogdiss are real. The
Cogniz. Tell
cogdiss.
us what's cogniz. Tell us what it is, butterfly.
Cognitive dissonance.
And tell us what that is, because that's a very powerful thing that's going on right now.
Well, that's like when you well, so it's a little bit different than gaslighting, right? So gaslighting
Yes.
is where somebody tells you something that's happening is not the thing that's actually happening. So you kind of feel crazy.
Like, tell us about the Ingrid Bergman movie.
That, I always think this is interesting how this came from that movie because it's an old black and white
Yeah,
movie. It's
like
the
50s.
one of the very few black and white movies I've ever like really watched all the way through
I'm also
and enjoyed. Yeah, because this one's really good. And it was about this woman it was played by Ingrid Bergman, and her husband, it was at the time they had gas lamps in the house,
yes,
and they could turn them up or turn them down by turning the gas up or down in the house.
yes.
And the lamps kept dimming at a certain time every day. And he told her that this wasn't happening, and she said, "Yes, it is." And he was dimming the lights, and he kept saying, "No, the lights aren't dimming." So he was telling her that they weren't what she was seeing was not what was
Your
happening.
mind is playing tricks on you, and you can't trust your own mind.
Yeah, you can't trust what you're actually seeing with your own eyes. And they did a lot of that during Cooties.
They totally
They
did.
told us that what we were seeing was not really the way it was.
So, but there's a distinction to be made. Just like there's a difference between jealousy and envy, there's a distinction between gaslighting and
And
cognitus.
cogdiss. Why don't you explain cogdiss?
So, cognitive dissonance is when someone gives you a fact and it's not what you want to hear, so you just disregard it.
Yeah, so you kind of gaslight yourself.
You do.
You are presented with a fact that doesn't go along with the previous facts that you believed to be
Yes.
true. So instead of looking at those new facts that you've been presented with and taking them into consideration
Yes.
and considering that, having an open mind and thinking this could actually be the way it is, you just shut those down and you refuse to look at a possibility that's different from the one that you already accepted to be true.
Exactly. The perfect example, the quintessential example is the dude we always talk about is when you went to the elementary school and you
Yeah,
told the dad,
I had
I
brochures,
have
the
brochures,
cookies shots.
these cootie shots, they're not only are they deadly, here's a host of horrible side effects, but your kid does not have to take it. And he goes, wow, I didn't know that.
I
Come
never
on,
knew
son.
about that. I didn't know any of these
I
things.
didn't know that.
And then he goes, "Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much. Come on, son. Let's go get the
Come on.
shots." It's
That's
just like that.
cognizant. That means it was information that he didn't want to accept.
Right,
It was data that he was just like, nope, because that goes against, you know what it is people are in a bubble and they're terrified of bursting that bubble.
right.
So if you give them a fact that bursts their worldview, it's very traumatizing
Hmm.
because now their comfort zone, because you know what I've noticed is comfort is a real important part of human experience.
Yes,
People will do anything to not get out of their comfort.
right.
They want to have their food and their sex and perfect temperature and just like massages and get their nails done. And they
Right,
don't want to have any discomfort.
right.
Discomfort is unacceptable.
Mhm.
Well, you might give them a fact that gives them discomfort because it's like, well, this might cause your whole worldview to come crashing down. You had that happen. You had that happen where your whole worldview came crashing down, and it was terrifying. It was when you watched Follow the Cabal, and you also watched the lies of the Porge Boyd, those people lives matter.
Mhm.
When you saw those two things, your whole worldview came crumbling down because you realized it was predicated on lies. but you didn't have cog dis. You accepted it and said, okay, I'm going to become red pilled. That's the difference.
Yeah, I was like, I need to check out these new facts and pieces of information, and I need to try to figure out what's true and what's not true and investigate.
So that's kind of profound. Cog dis is the blue pill.
Hmm.
Cog dis is the epitome of the blue pill.
Right.
Because you know what they told Cypher was in the Matrix. He goes, "I know this steak is not real. I know this is an illusion." And he takes a bite and he goes, "Ignorance is bliss." That's Cogdiz.
Yeah.
Cogdiz, ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
Because that's what people have. So what they'll do is they'll eat the dog shit and they'll just accept that the filet mignon is gross
Hmm.
because it's they don't want that information because if they choose the filet mignon, you get canceled.
Totally.
And they're not prepared to be canceled. It was like all the people who went along with the cooties shots. They weren't prepared to be canceled. And it's like, well, why'd you get it? Well, I had to go on a cruise. We went on a cruise.
Right.
It was an awesome cruise. Well, okay, but you now are a product that has been modified by a corporation and they own you. That's probably going to be a problem in the future.
Yeah.
Well, this is the one thing that's kind of a white pill
Okay.
is these people are real. These commies are trying to take over this country from within, but they're all fat, disgusting, like lesbians, and we're not going to get defeated by them.
No,
That's one thing. The other thing is people who are blue pilled can be red pilled.
it's true.
And then it's kind of like the outside of the office. Remember, I was like, look how dry the planters are. They haven't gotten any water, and there's a bunch of weeds, and everything looks just real dry out there.
Mm.
But one deluge will change everything.
Exactly.
That deluge could be a mass awakening.
Totally.
That's the white pill.
That's the white pill.
Because a mass awakening is the only thing that thwarts communism.
And you know what we've talked about before? It's kind of like the pendulum that's
Ah,
swinging.
yes, yes.
Um, so it might seem like nobody is, or not enough people are going along with like waking up right now,
Mhm.
but it kind of like might be swinging like a little bit, and then it just takes like, you know, one more person to like swing it over to the other side. So I think that if we keep talking and we keep, you know, presenting these ideas to people, eventually enough people are going to wake up and the pendulum is going to swing to the other
Just like
side.
the American Revolution. The American Revolution was started by 3% of the
Mm.
colonists. And once their cause prevailed, then everybody jumps on board.
Yeah,
So, and that can happen quick.
it can.
One
It does
event.
happen fast. I think it like feels like it's slow and it's not happening, and then all of a sudden it just like it's like a
Yeah,
downpour.
I think it's like a tipping
It's a
point.
tipping
Have you ever
point.
heard that term? It's
Yes.
a tipping point.
Actually, I read this book. Have you ever read any of Malcolm Gladwell's books?
No, but you told me about them. He was the
He
guy who said
he's
that
probably
people
culture
like
club,
Bill
but
Gates was not just he was in the right place at the right time, but he also prepared himself properly for that exact moment.
yeah, I think that was from the book Outliers. But he I've read several of his books, and
Wow,
he's probably culture club, but
he
I
reveals the method.
yeah, I like his theories and his books, and he and um that one was interesting how he said that people who are successful in various
Industries.
areas are they put in they're not only hard workers, and um they're lucky because they're at the right place at the right time, but they put the work in. They put the hours in. And he was saying that it was like an average of 20,000 hours that made somebody a successful whatever it was that they were.
Which I think is true, but we've also said you also have to sell your soul.
You also have to sell your soul. Totally. So he's probably culture club.
Totally.
But I thought it was interesting how he kind of he tells like little short stories and ties it all into relevant situations. You know, he makes it sound like a little short story, but it's actually like something that happened. But he wrote that book, The Tipping Point, and that was about these things that they weren't popular, or they weren't really catching on, and then like there was a certain thing that just kind of pushed them over the edge, and at a certain point it was like the tipping point. It was like the pendulum started swinging the other direction. So I think that does happen.
I think so too. And I think you've seen that happen.
Yeah.
You've seen that happen several times where there'll be like a flex point, and
Yeah.
it'll be like where the tide finally
The
turns.
tide turns.
And then,
Yeah.
have you ever heard the term inertia?
Yes.
So inertia is like, okay, there's a force moving us in this direction, but then this could be Kool-Aid,
Mm-hmm.
but the idea of the Big Bang was that there was a big explosion and the universe was expanding out from that explosion, but then eventually reached a point of what's called entropy.
Mm.
And entropy is where the explosion it basically spends all of its power, and the expansion outward stops, and now it starts collapsing back in.
Mm.
So the inertia is going outwards, but then the inertia starts going back inward. So it's kind of like using your pendulum analogy. And I think maybe we might be right at the inflection point where the tide starts turning the other way.
Mm.
I think when enough people see these fat lesbians saying that communism is the way to go,
And we need
that's
to
gonna
like take down our country.
that yeah, you're gonna go, wait a second, I don't want to align myself with
I
them.
think there might be enough people that might have enough sense to see that that's not going to be a good idea.
They're not good looking and they're not happy. They're
Yeah.
just so miserable and just want to hurt people they hate.
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna prevail.
I don't think so
We
either.
have a love.
Yeah.
And we're like, we want to, because John F. Kennedy said, a rising tide lifts all
I
boats.
love it.
A rising tide lifts all boats. Communism is like a sinking tide sinks all boats. So, anyways, anything else on this one? This one we're kind of short on this one, but we did just want to kind of talk about it in terms of being aware of like where we're at in
Exactly.
terms of these people.
They want to take down this country.
There's no Democrats and Republicans, and Democrats are not Americans.
No.
Democrats are people who hate this country and want to destroy it.
Yeah.
But they're both controlled by Satan because
Right.
Republicans love that country from 1948.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's a little disconcerting.
Yeah.
Like, who's ruling
Well,
us?
these are like the extremes, you know. I think that there's a lot of people kind of in the middle that don't want this stuff,
Do you
you
think they're
know.
in power?
Uh,
No.
yeah.
I think right now what's happened is you can't have power unless you capitulate to the culture club.
Hmm.
So therefore, you have all these people that are in power right now that are these extremes.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of people across America that are blue pilled and they could easily be red pilled. And that is the movement that would,
People need to
yeah,
reject this. That's the thing. And if you get enough people red pilled and awake and realizing what's going on and rejecting this, that's where we're gonna
that's the answer.
prevent it. Yeah.
That's the answer.
Yeah.
And once a few, see, we have courage, me and you and our audience, we have the courage to stand up. And once our movement prevails, then everyone will just join on board.
Exactly. I love it.
Anything else?
That was good.
Find us on Instagram, find us on Spotify, find us on Rumble. We're going to do bit shoots soon. We're going to have clips coming out. We have a TikTok account as well. And also go to unslavyourmindpodcast.com. We have a store there and we have a shirt that's available. We're going to put more shirts available. So please like us, comment. Oh, do you have a question that you want to ask the audience to maybe answer in the comments?
Well, I'd like to know if any of our audience members like what they're noticing about communism creeping in.
Perfect.
Hmm.
Please tell us what kind of observations you have made and you've seen the ugly scourge of communism rearing its ugly head.
Yeah.
And it is an ugly head. If you watch this this video on alexjones.com today, it's just these ugly lesbos. And they're just like, "Mm, yeah, we're here
Ready
to
to destroy America.
we need to
We,
destroy this imperial country.
we need to take it down.
Mm, yeah, from within.
Ugh.
Ugh. And we're gonna all follow behind you.
Yeah.
We're gonna all live in a world that you foresee. Like, how about her vision? We live in her vision.
God.
She probably wants all dudes to be like exterminated.
Pro-
She's like, you don't want me, so die.
All right, that was good.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.